Welcome to A&B Jukebox Repair, your one-stop source for road jukebox repair service and replacement parts. My name is Bruce Wentworth, and I'll be your instructor today. Today's discussion is going to be on how to reassemble a Rowe Jukebox CD Pro mechanism after you had it shipped and it came to your place, and now you got to open the boxes and reassemble it. So we're going to reassemble it. This is like a follow-up from our last video session on how to ship a Rowe CD Pro mechanism. Okay, so now you got your boxes in. You got 3 boxes. You should have one with a box with your basket, your magazine. You should have another one with your frame assembly. Okay, then you're going to have another one with your player and mech control and stuff. So basically, we're gonna go follow the same procedure we did last time on removing it, but we're going to go first what the steps we did last. So the last steps we had was we put these back on this little plate. So we're going to remove the plate now. Again, the tools you're going to need is a 3/8 ball nut driver or socket, a 5/16 socket or ball nut driver, and a 1/8 Allen wrench. Okay. Going to remove the 3 screws that holds the plate, the 5/16. Okay, you're just going to leave it right here because you're going to put it on in a minute. Okay, now you're going to loosen up the 2 Allen screws, the 1/8 Allen wrench. Again, there's no specific way to line this, which way you do it. All you do is put it in, so remove that. Okay, now you're going to do is you're going to slide in the basket here. Okay, you remember, you make sure that these little nylon sleeves are still on there. Okay, you're going to go ahead and put it this way with the shaft on the first. And again, there's a couple holes you got to line up as it goes through. There it goes. And just put it all the way till it stops. Okay, once it stops, okay, now you're going to go ahead and take the belt and put the belt in there, because once you put the plate on, you won't be able to get the belt on. Okay, now you're going to put in the collar, the brass collar, locking collar. Again, there's no front or back to this or any way to line up. You're just going to put it on so you can get at both Allen screws. Okay, you're going to go ahead and snug one first. Then you're going to tighten the other one. Okay, whatever's easier for you. Okay, got that. Not too tight, just enough where you know it's not going to come off. Again, it's not a moving part, so there's no pressure on it, okay? So you got the belt semi on. You're going to go ahead and put the plate on, like this. One thing I just noticed, that the basket's not all the way on. There it is. The basket has to go all the way against the brass collar on the inside, so it wasn't quite on all the way. So let's go ahead and loosen those screws again and push it all the way on. Here we go. Okay, so now it's all the way on. You see that? So now we go ahead and tighten this. And whatever's easier for you, the positioning of the screws, where you can get at them. Okay, that's on. So now you're going to put the plate on. Oop, the belt's still on. Okay, get that all the way on. So now you're going to put the nut on. Not yet. We got one other part, the bar. Okay, so now you're going to take your bar and you're going to line that up with that like this. Okay, and you're going to go ahead and line that up there. So you're just going to put this on loosely, bring it up close to it like this. Don't fully tighten it yet, so you can still move it a little bit. Okay, now you're going to line up the bottom hole. Okay, and you're going to try to put this in the center, right here. Put it in the center, and put in your 5/16 hex nut bolt. Okay, like that. All right, now you can go ahead and tighten this bottom one. Okay, Not all the way tight. Let's loosen it a little bit so you can line up the two side screws. Okay, get one in there. Get one in there. I just started by hand to make it a little easier. Then you take your 5/16, bring it all the way down. Doesn't have to be too much pressure or torque. Just make sure they're all the way screwed down. That's all. Like that. Okay. The next thing to do now is you got the rollers all the way down. This helps adjust up and down. You got it all the way down. Put it on the rollers like this. And I'm going to move this a little bit this way so you can see a little bit what I'm doing. Okay, as you see, I got the rollers on. Now I'm going to put this on the outside here. All the way. And once again, you're going to line it up on these dividers on the flats. See, there's a flat at the very top. This is where you put the belt. And you're going to go ahead and put it on there. And get it all the way on. Let me just make it a little easier. Put on the bottom, around the bottom section first. Put this on like this. Okay, that's all. Everything's on. You're going to gradually take it now and slide it up with your hands like this. Okay, and not too tight, but you're going to go ahead and tighten these. Okay, we did that. Now, you want to push on the lock on the left side. There's a little magazine release lock right there. You're going to reach in and push on the lock and turn the belt. See how it spins? That's good. Okay? That's the first section. Okay, next thing you want to do now is you want to turn the lever on the transfer motor to bring the gripper arm back in the rest position above the basket, just like that. Okay, now that we did that, we're going to go ahead and assemble the optical switch. The optical switch basically has a bracket that has a half moon shape, and the bracket goes right up against the back of this plate and goes into a little groove right in there. You see that groove? It sits into there like that, right into that groove. So it's made for that. Okay. Then you got this little adjuster here, thumb wheel, that's like a piece that hooks. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, here we go. This goes through the hole there, and see this screw that goes right up against that top bar. That's where the setting was. So we're going to put exactly where it was, so you don't have to reset it. You're going to take your 1/4-inch ball nut driver. You're going to put this on like this, and this has a threaded hole for the optical switch. So the threaded hole is going to meet the optical switch. So basically, again, when you line this up on here like this, you bring this up, you bring it down, you should be able to go ahead and just find the hole first. When you find the hole, go ahead and start, don't tighten it all the way. Okay, now you're going to adjust it up or down right till it hits that. That's it. That's done. Okay, the next part you're going to reassemble is the mechanism control. The mechanism control, before we actually put the mechanism control on, you want to grab the player harness. If you remember the part we did on part 2 of the upgrade on your CDM4 to a Pro Mech, you always put this in first, the harness. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and line it all the way in. Then this is going to go right against the front when you put it in. The next thing is the optical switch, which goes in the top corner on the inside. It's easier to do it now than to do it later. Okay, now you got that in. You got this lines up in the slot on the frame. You stick this in the slot. You move the optical switch all the way to the front. You slide this in against the 2 bolts at the top here. The 2 bolts that are waiting to receive this, and plug it in and screw it up. French tightening the screws. Okay, that's it. That's it for that. So we get the mech control, the optical switch on, everything's plugged in. So now you're going to do the player. When we ship you these kits, we're going to remove this. This is the magnetic hub. This is going to be removed, and also the grommets. These are the grommets. And these grommets just push in to these holes here, because we're worried about you losing these, so we're going to put these in the separate box, the one that's being shipped from my company. And then the magnetic hub, you're going to slide in like this. That's how you do that. Now you're ready to put the player in. Again, remember the player just sits on top of those rubber grommets like that. But you're going to reach in and grab the harness now. You're going to grab these two plugs on the harness. And I'm going to plug in the back side first. This is the 4-position plug. Okay, that's the audio, and here's the data right there. Now the front plug, I'm gonna move it over for you. Remember we talked about the power connection. This is the critical connection. You can blow the play if you don't plug this in correctly. The one on the 3 sides where there's 3 plugs, and using this one 4-position connector with a black line on the side, you're gonna plug it all the way to the, over here where it says, it should be power. Okay, so you're just gonna push that in like that. That's good. I'm going to go ahead and plug in the other plugs on here. The Mech interface plug. And we're going to plug in the counters. Plug in the counter. Got that plugged in. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put a CD in here. We're going to put a CD in number 37. Okay, for testing. So we're going to pause for testing now. Hi, welcome back. We just back from a pause. Okay, so we just reassembled the mechanism, the CD Pro mechanism, and we brought it over here to our bench test station. We put one CD in number 37. Okay, so now we're going to select one track from that and see what happens. Here it goes, spinning up. And we'll see what happens. Okay, that's all there is to it. So you don't have to be afraid to buy a mechanism or to ship a Pro mechanism. You just got to be willing to take it a step-by-step process. And don't forget to protect the basket, protect the frame, ship things through the UPS ship center. Make sure they're properly protected. Okay, my name is Bruce Wentworth. It's been a pleasure having you here today, and we hope to see you again in the future. Goodbye.